Today I want to talk about the importance of being you and why that brings such a unique skill set to any kind of business. One thing you'll find with office jobs is that there's a lot of rules and regulations on how to dress and how to act and what kind of manner that you should fall into accordance with. And that's a lot to do with how businesses perceive clients' expectations for them. So they say, I don't want you to be customer facing if you had facial piercings or tattoos or coloured hair, or maybe even if you dressed in a certain way if you didn't like a suit and tie, because they like to guess the expectations of the customer. And a lot of the time it's not actually, it's kind of like something that doesn't need to be done. So working in your own business, it's very tempting to try and fall into line. And it may not just be your appearance, it may be your manner or the way you interact with people. Maybe you're a nervous person, maybe you're not confident around people, and you've been led to believe that you need to get confident, you need to sort yourself out. You shouldn't be so shy. You'll never get far in business if you act like that. And actually, I don't think that's true. I think that now there are ways of being true to who you are and still being successful at business. And I don't think confidence and arrogance are actually as good at achieving things as actually being focused on task and truly believing in what you're doing. So you may find yourself in a negotiation with someone that is very, very aggressive and very alpha, and they come in and they're like, well, we need it for this amount of money, or we're just gonna, ride roughshod over you. And now you're in the place that when you're in charge of your own business, you can say, okay, let's walk away from this now. I'll talk to you about it again another time. And you can formulate your response, and you can do it at a distance. You can write them an email, you can, work on the call. I think we can move past the point of being bullied by the school jock now into big business. It's not necessary anymore. And I don't think you should crush who you are just to satisfy that kind of corporate visage when you don't need to. I'm lucky enough that I'm quite confident in situations through learning to be confident and trying to force myself into being better around people, and but for when I was shy when I was a kid, because I was an only child and I wasn't used to being around other children. And anytime I was in front of like adults, they asked me a question, I'd say something really that I felt was embarrassing, and I'd feel anxious about it, and I couldn't stop thinking about these really silly things that I'd said, and they're probably just a passing thing to whoever I was talking to, like that was a bit weird, but he's a little kid, so of course. But they've stuck with me for years. Like, I know it sounds really silly, but once my mum picked up a melon in the supermarket and it had a ready-to-eat sticker, and she said, "Well, it doesn't look very ready to eat." And like deep down inside, I felt bad for the person that had misstickered it, and like I felt like sad in the journey home. And like that night, I could just think about this poor person who'd had this job to find out if the melon was ripe or not. And it made me sad, like, it sounds silly, but it made me sad for like years. But that kind of caring temperament isn't weakness. It might seem like it, but it's okay to care. And I think a lot of the time when people get angry, they get angry because they care. But caring's enough. You don't need to be angry as well. You can just care, it's fine. So just to reiterate, I think now you don't need to get confident, stupid, like you can just be who you are and find ways that works into your own business plan. And I'm not saying that you don't have to change how you work to suit your personality type, but what I'm saying is that you shouldn't change into someone else for the sake of what the corporate world thinks or has told you that you have to do. And I think that's really important.